Yo, 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 am I live? It's been a while, am I live? Can you guys hear me? I didn't even check my mic. Okay, looks like we're good. Make sure it's the right mic. Yep, we're all good. What's happening, folks? Okay, all right. I'm just trying to get situated here. It's been a while since I've had everything set up in the right place. So just give me a second. How's everybody doing? I didn't even didn't even draw the sketch first of what I was gonna do here. So I'm gonna do this real quickly. Just kind of a beach scene. This is actually Laguna Beach in Southern California. It's a photograph from a few years ago, from January. This was like early January, like 2017 or 18 or something. How's it going, everybody? No, I did not get COVID. No, I've been fine. I've just been relaxing a bit, focusing on other things in my life. Got some other projects happening, some big things going on, and just other things happening. I felt like I kind of needed a break. I was getting burnt out, so I'm gonna try to be a little more consistent nowadays, but maybe not do it as often. Maybe like 3 times a week. I'll try to figure something out, kind of a more doable schedule than every single day. Or maybe I'll do it every single day again. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, let me get this sketch going. I gotta remember how to sketch and paint and talk at the same time. So yeah, everything's been good, man. Everything's just life's just getting better, pretty much. So grateful. Life getting better, things happening, a lot of fun. Hope everybody's been doing well, staying safe and healthy and all that stuff. So we're keeping this loose. I'm thinking today we're doing I'm going to do 2 colors only. And so I thought about there's kind of 2 main combinations I could do. All right, Lauren, chill out there. You only have to say hi once. You know what I'm saying? Relax. So the idea I'm having, so I was gonna do 2 colors, and there's 2 different combinations I could do, and I wanted to hear what you guys thought. Although I think I have my mind made up actually, so it doesn't even really matter. So I was thinking of doing ultramarine blue and transparent red oxide, or ultramarine violet deep and yellow ochre, and I think I'm going to do the ultramarine violet with the yellow ochre. I think that's kind of the original route I was going to take. I think doing the ultramarine and the transparent red oxide, the brown, it's too easy. It's not as challenging, I don't think. Because I know for sure those colors can get gray if I mix them together. I'm not sure about the purple and the yellow. So it'll be an interesting experiment to try to balance both of them and have some kind of interesting color harmony. So trying to make sure I get some good perspective here. I think that's pretty good. And Eventually we'll probably add in some of these figures. Try to make them look like figures anyway. I haven't really practiced many figures at all in watercolor, but I do have an idea of how to do them. Maybe not this small. This is kind of tricky to do them this small, but I'm gonna do my best. That's all I can do. Do my best. We'll try to make it happen. Just be some suggestion of people and stuff. Okay, cool. Got the sketch finally. I should have already had this done before I started, but can I do it with two colors? Yeah, I'm gonna do it with two colors. Is it gonna be, here's the thing, it's not gonna be accurate colors. It's not gonna have a blue sky with, you know, brown sand. It's just gonna be an exercise of using a limited two color. It's just more of an exercise rather than realistic color. I'm not really looking for realistic color. My pencil got a little dark here, so I'm just lightening up some of this. So yeah, obviously it's not gonna be realistic looking color. It's gonna be just a different, something different. I just wanted to mix it up a little bit, you know. So I'm gonna clean my palette a bit here, something I don't normally ever do, very rarely do. But, so I'm basically just wetting it and then I'm wiping off the pigment. So that's kind of how I clean my palette. I just do it very quickly, and that's how I do it when I go and paint plein air outside. That's pretty much how I clean it. If I need a really clean, crisp color, I just clean it really quickly like this. And the cool thing is when I need like a dirtier color, like a grayer color, I just use some of the paint that's already in, you know, on the edge of the palette. So I'm just going to clean these bottom three pans. I don't think I'll need anything more than that. So I'm thinking one of them can be mostly yellow ochre, one of them can be mostly the ultramarine violet deep, and then one of them can be some gray mixtures in between both of them. But I'm probably going to mostly be using a mixture of both. I don't want to use pure color that much probably, because I want to maintain a color harmony. A nice color harmony. All right, so we got this clean. I don't really have to talk about the colors I'm going to be using because it's only two colors, so that's cool. It's actually more difficult to paint with more colors, to be honest, because then you have to worry about color mixing. It gets confusing. All right, so I'm just wetting some of the colors here. The purple, or the ultramarine violet. And then the yellow ochre. Let's get them nice and wet. So I'm going to try to think about how I'm going to do this. So, you know, like where do I start? What am I going to start with? I think I'm going to start with the sky. I think I'm going to get rid of the clouds in the sky. Maybe I'll add them a little bit. I don't know. It is kind of an interesting cloud shape, so maybe have some kind of cloud shape there. I don't know. Try to figure it out. So I might start with the sky. And yeah, we'll see how this ends up turning out. So I'll show you guys what I'm mixing up here. So a little bit of ultramarine violet, and I'm going to get some of this yellow ochre. We'll see what kind of color this makes. So kind of a dirty brown, somewhat grayish color. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting to see how this ends up working out. I've never tried mixing these two colors together, so this was just an experiment. I know that purple and yellow make like a gray. I just didn't know what kind of gray these two colors were going to make. Excuse me. Okay, already got some color on the painting. That's great. All right. So I think starting out, I'm actually going to wet the sky first with just water for once. It's not something I really do, and my brush is a little dirty, so that's okay. Let's try to clean that off a little, make it a little cleaner. So I'm just wetting the area that I'm going to put some pigment into. Hopefully this cloud shape will look good. And if not, no big deal, whatever. So I'm just going to have it get lighter as it goes down. Just try to make this shape better. It's kind of a weird cloud shape, but it's okay. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting painting as far as color. See if I can get a little more purple in here towards the top. So it looks like it's going to have this kind of reddish gray sepia tone to the whole painting, which would be pretty cool. All right, kids, stop spamming the chat, please. I'd appreciate it. So let's see. I want to keep these edges soft on the cloud. Try to keep some softness there. All right, that's a pretty good sky, actually. I'm actually happy with that. Getting some really interesting colors already. Anyway, what's going on out there? Where's everybody from? How's everybody doing? What's happening? Seems like I don't have many folks watching, although it looks like my numbers are not updating. I don't know how many people are watching right now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's just keep going. What do I do next? What's next? What's next here? Let's just do the sand and all of the greenery there. I'll just do a wash. Can actually almost match that color for the most part, but what I'm more concerned about is the value. Oh man, stripped in my sky there. That's all right, we'll just let it run. Just roll with it. Maybe clean that up slightly. So none of this is completely white, so that's good to know. I'm gonna let some of that bleed into the sky, hopefully. Create some softness there. So I just need to be careful here with the water. Curious about how I do the waves. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm gonna do them, to be honest. Just gonna make it up. Pretty much like I always do. Trying to get some dry brushing in here. Gonna end up covering all of it up anyway. It's pretty nice looking though. I like that. It's cool. So bringing in more purple right here. This is where the sand is a little bit blue because it's wet, but it's reflecting the sky. So I'm bringing in just a little bit more purple there. Oh man, it's been a while since I've done watercolor or done anything. Feels kind of weird. Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's cool. Ohio. So far, just people from the U.S. Wonder what's happening with all my international folks. Must be busy today. Or it's early. It's kind of early in some parts of the world. Alright, so let's do this water now. So I actually got this idea. I mean, I've known about using only 2 colors for a long time, but I kind of got this idea. I was looking through Instagram like a week or 2 ago, and I saw somebody did an oil painting, a plein air oil painting with only these 2 colors, like a purple and yellow ochre. And I was like, I should try to do that with watercolor. And I realized I should probably try doing some monochromatic paintings too, like just using ivory black or something. That would be a good experiment to try out and really focus on only values. I mean, it's really what you're supposed to do when you're just a beginner, is kind of focus on values and stuff like that. I think my drawing's a little bit off. Should have made this up more, this white strip. It looked right when I drew it, and now that I'm painting it, I can tell it's off. That's annoying. It tends to happen sometimes. You see things when it's too late. You've already done it, you made a mistake, now you gotta just roll with it. Alright, somebody from Turkey, that's cool. From India, Maryland. Sweet. So we got a few international folks. Yeah, it's a very gloomy looking painting actually with this color scheme. It's very weird. Got something on the page right there. Cool, it's not paint. Yeah, I think the sky so far is my favorite part. Let's try to soften this. I'm trying to focus on getting more softness into my work. I was thinking about it the other day. I want to really get more soft edges and stuff moving forward here with a lot of my work. Something to experiment with, just making things way softer, and that way I'll get more focus where the sharp edges are. Alright, so I'm going to try to get as dark as I can, which it's basically just ultramarine violet deep and a little bit of yellow ochre. Kind of graying it a bit, but I can't get very dark with this color mixture. But I'm just going to make it as dark as I can. Getting some glare there. It'll go away once it dries. Yeah, this is definitely an interesting experiment. I've never really done this before, so I had no idea how it's going to turn out, but that's part of the fun. Is like, I think the color definitely looks better in person. On screen, it just looks a little weird, but not too bad. Ooh, it's way more purple. Let's gray that down a bit. Just adding in some splatters and stuff on these rocks, rocky area. And on the sand a bit. Definitely need some of that in the sand. So let's try to add some texture and stuff. Let's see. What's darker? I think the rocks are darker, really, but so just trying to suggest like texture and like footprints and stuff in the imperfections in this foreground sand. It's still wet. Gonna have to wait for this to dry, add some more splatters back into that. Yeah, very interesting, very interesting. Let's try to get that glare out of there. So there's got a lot of softness up here, probably a little too much than I wanted. But it's not awful. Kind of just roll with it. Kind of makes it interesting, that's for sure. Although I want more softness over here. If I'm gonna have softness anywhere, should be near the edge of the paper. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry the camera is it's not that great with colors here. In this wet area, I got getting a glare here. There we go. How about that? That's better. That's way better. My paper is 9 by 12, and then I taped. This is 3/4 inch tape around the edges. And the brush is a number 8 quill brush that I'm using. I also have this smaller number 10 round that I might use, or this number 16 round brush. That's all I use. But so far I've only used this number 8 quill brush. I'm going to try adding in some of these people here. I'm not really sure what to do with this white area for the waves. I mean, I feel like it needs some kind of texture on there, very lightly. Maybe I'll take some yellow ochre and a little bit of ultramarine violet deep, but maybe I like splatter very, very lightly. Or let me see if I paint this on here. Get very light bits of texture. Now, I don't want to overdo it too much, but just some areas. Something like that. Maybe soften some of this stuff too. There we go. I like that. Just gives it a little bit of something. I'll actually soften this edge too as it gets toward the paper, the edge of the page. Don't want anything too hard toward the edge of the page, edge of the painting. So I think when I add these people, I'm gonna try to use thick paint as I can, kind of dry brush. Let's give it a shot. So I'm gonna use mostly ultramarine violet deep. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how this is gonna turn out. This is a big experiment. But yeah, it's cool. So I'm seeing a lot of watercolor figures and stuff from really good artists. And what they normally do is when they get down to the feet, they kind of dry brush. You know, if you paint every single thing, it kind of kills the... So if I can kind of like... Wish I can get some arms on here. Yeah, I don't know. Something like that, maybe. There's a smaller figure next to him. Like I said, I've never practiced figures and stuff, especially like suggesting them like this, so I have no idea what I'm doing. Obviously, I need way more practice with figures and stuff like this. But like I said, this is just a suggestion of people. It's not meant to... Not meant to be anything more than that, so... Yeah, it really is like a sepia photo, actually. It's very bizarre. I didn't think I was going to get this kind of look to the painting. I thought it was going to be more gray. But I guess my purple has more of a reddish tinge to it. It's more of an ultramarine violet rather than a bluish purple. So yeah, it's kind of cool. It's different. It's very different. So suggest some smaller figures down here on the beach. Okay, pretty cool. Let's see, is this dry? Pretty much dry. Pretty dry. Not much of figures, so just kind of blobs. Maybe this person's sitting down or something. I don't know. Cool. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I mean, it looks like people. Looks like people to me, I guess. Maybe keep this, add this darker color in a few other spots. I still need to get the, that's what I need to do. Let's get the palm trees in here. So I'm going to use a lighter color for the trunks of these. Palm trees. I make it look easy? I don't know. I guess. I don't know that it's turning out that great or anything, but I'm trying. Just focusing on the values, you know. And obviously I'm trying not to use like super pure color anywhere because I want it to have this harmony to it, you know. Ooh, I just tripped right on the page. I always do that. Oh well, doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Then these palm trees are pretty dark, so we're going to use that dark kind of dry brushing effect again. It's kind of cool. I love trying to get some texture into my work. nowadays. Let's try to zoom this in a bit for you guys. So this is almost pure ultramarine violet. And you see I'm not using much water at all, very, very, very little water. Because I want to get kind of texture going. These trees and bushes and stuff. Just a bunch of greenery. I think I'll sprinkle some of this darker color a little bit through there as well. Yeah, I've never really done much texture like this with watercolor. It's kind of cool. Really like it, actually. So just adding some other things up here in the foreground. So I'm going to bring some of this dark into the foreground because I think it needs a little bit of the dark up front as well. Normally you keep the darkest darks for like the foreground, but I kind of been thinking about that the whole time, that I'm adding this dark back here. But, you know, this is kind of my focal point. This is like where it is kind of dark back there. So I'm kind of just rolling with it. We're just experimenting, see how it's going to turn out. Maybe having some of this dark to try to like lead you back into the painting a bit. Some kind of zigzag type of motion or something. All right, let's not get too carried away here. I always do that anyway. I always get carried away. I don't know who's carrying me, but getting carried away. Okay. This area just feels really blank to me. I think that's why I need some splatters there, because it just looks very blank. Yep, there we go. Just needed a little bit of texture there, just so that it matches the rest of the foreground and stuff. I actually really like the softness of this, looking at it on the screen. It's actually really cool. I almost feel like some of these rocks are just too hard all the way around. I feel like I need soften like one small side of them and stuff. Add some different value to this water. Slightly. go. Kind of made it look more like water there. See how I softened that rock? Kind of the water into that rock. Kind of helped give it the illusion, if you look back, that it's kind of like going into the ocean. You know, the waves are kind of hitting it, and it's just these things happening all around. That's why edge control, like controlling your edges, is so important. Because you get this illusion of some kind of realism to some extent. There we go. Looks like they're sitting in the water now, not rather than, you know, rather than the photo. Photo gives you this sharp edge, but it's really not how it is. Modifying the shape there a little bit. Yeah, this is pretty cool actually. I'm actually really surprised with how this turned out. Just gonna lighten up a few areas maybe. Just give a little more interest back here. Just so it's not so blank looking. So I'm just using a wet brush, kind of scrubbing a little bit to do that. So that's pretty cool. Is there any other dark? I was doing a lot of dark and then I got sidetracked. So let's see, like maybe just back over here. Are these colors mixed or straight out of the tube? I'm using two colors straight out of the tube, but I am mixing them together as well. So you can see actually some of this, if you look at it in the right light, if I can get there, you can see that some of the dark is very purple looking. But then all around it's very grayed down, there's more yellow in the mixture. But the darks, really the darks on this are really purple, very purple. Well, is there anything else needed here? Does it need, you know, I'm kind of not looking at the photo as much anymore. I'm kind of asking myself, does the painting need anything? Because now it's just a matter of making the painting work as a painting, not really being a slave to the photograph. Let's darken some of these bushes up here under the trees. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this is coming out. This is my favorite part of the whole painting. Oh man, I just dripped in the sky again. How did I do that? No big deal. Just kind of wipe that off and boom. Perfect, can't even tell. Yeah, this is definitely like a sepia photograph. So pleased I managed to see this before you finish. Glad you're back. Thanks, appreciate it. I have no words, it is breathtaking. Oh, thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I might take the tape off here and see if there's anything that really stands out to me. I think the only thing that, and it's something small, I don't even really need to mess with it, but I don't really like this light shape back here. I think I just want to cut into it slightly. Kind of like that, maybe. Just wanted to make it a little more interesting rather than it being more like some kind of triangle. It just needed to be slightly modified. But that's just me kind of nitpicking this thing. Could be interesting if you do the next painting just with the primary colors. Yeah, I can do that. Honestly, I almost do that anyway for the most part. A lot of the colors that I use, I have all these colors on my palette. Most of the time I only end up using 4 or 5, 3 to 5 colors anyway. I don't use all the colors in all the paintings. You just kind of use, some of them are convenience colors, like yellow ochre, that's a convenience color. Like I can mix yellow ochre from the other colors on my palette. I don't need yellow ochre on my palette. But having yellow ochre when I'm outside doing plein air or just a painting like this or any kind of painting, it's very convenient. It saves you a lot of time. And it's very, it's a color that in landscapes, it kind of pops up a lot and it helps you get certain mixtures that it's just so easy to mix. Rather than mixing 3 colors together, you can just mix 2 together and get the same color very quickly. So to some extent, I do like having convenience colors, but yeah, most of my palette it's just primaries anyway. But I think I might do more limited color like this next time, 2 different colors. Maybe next time we can do, so the colors I know on my palette that give me a gray color, because the reason I did 2 colors like this, I picked 2 colors that I knew if I mixed together, they would give me a gray, right? So there's other mixtures that do it. Ultramarine and transparent red oxide will give you a gray if you mix it together. Actually, let me demonstrate that real quick. I'll show you guys real quickly here. So if I take ultramarine, so we have ultramarine blue there. So if ultramarine blue, as you can see there, and then if you take transparent red oxide, maybe that'll be the color. Maybe this 2 color mixture will be. I'll do that next live stream, painting live stream. And if you take this color, this brown, transparent red earth, you mix these together, you can see already right away you're getting a gray. And that's more, obviously there's more brown in this, so I mix a little bit more blue. Now I need a little more brown. And you'll get a gray, boom, right there. Now you see it's gray. So that's a really interesting, if I did a painting with just those 2 colors, that'll be really interesting as far as color, because I can use a lot of blue to cool something down and get a real cooler color, or I could use brown and get a really warmer color, or I can use gray that's in between them. And I think another mixture that I could potentially use that would be pretty challenging is this cobalt teal. I think I could use this cobalt teal. Now this is just a guess on my part. I think I could use cobalt teal, which is a very strong color and kind of opaque. So I could use cobalt teal and alizarin crimson, which is another very strong color. So this would be a very challenging mixture to use, but I think, and I'm just guessing here, but I think if I mix these together, you get a gray. So right away we can see that alizarin just dominated that mixture. So if I mix a little bit more cobalt into that, starting, not exactly a gray, but we do get an interesting purple. So that could be another color mixture that would create a really interesting color harmony, really interesting painting. What else could I do? Another one to do that's really cool is Viridian. And see, these are all, I might experiment with these in the future if you guys want to see more of these. Viridian is really cool to use, although it's a kind of a weak color. It's very weak. But Viridian and then transparent red oxide gives you some really interesting color harmonies. You get a really nice interesting green when you mix those two together. But you also get some it kind of grays down a little bit. Also a three color interesting palette would be Viridian, Transparent Red Earth, and Yellow Ochre. Having Yellow Ochre in the mixture as well. This would create a really cool painting, some kind of landscape painting, just using these three colors. So that's something I might experiment with as well. And I think that's something Sargent did. I think that particular mixture, or at least something very close, I noticed that in some of his paintings that he did. But anyway, that's just kind of some color mixing there. But here's the, yeah, I don't think I need to do much more to it. I think I'm pretty happy with that. You know, I love the softness I got here. I thought it was too soft, but it actually really makes it interesting, I think. It's pretty cool. The only thing that bothers me now I'm looking at it is kind of these darks in the foreground here. They're kind of the same size. I'm just going to soften one of them a bit, just to get a little more variety. Let's get some of these shapes together a bit. But yeah, anyway, can't believe you did this in 40 minutes. I can't believe it either, actually. It went pretty quickly. Yeah, it actually went pretty quickly, but I didn't have to really mix a lot of colors. I was using, it was almost just one mixture of colors. Because you can only get so dark with a certain color. So I knew the dark was going to be purple. I knew the light was going to be this yellow, the warm. So I really love how the sky mixed here, this wet into wet. Really love how that came out. This sepia and purple looks really cool. A little bit of hint of some clouds there. Yeah, came out pretty well. Pretty well. And this dark figure against this white stripe, it's really striking, really attracts your eye. Probably too much, actually. Probably attracts your eye a little too much, but it's okay. Could be interesting if you do the next painting with just primary coat. Oh yeah, I already read that. Another really nice painting that evokes emotion. That was my goal. That's my goal every time, trying to get a little more emotion and stuff in my work. But great job, man. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. I guess the next live stream, maybe tomorrow, maybe sometime this weekend. I don't know. I got some things I need to catch up on this weekend. Very important things. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, the next stream will be not a painting. It'll be a pen and ink drawing or something. I'll figure out something cool. They're all social distancing in the painting. Yeah, it looks like it actually. They're all hanging out, chilling out, social distancing. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this painting came out. The only thing left is to sign it, really. I don't really sign them on camera usually, but I don't know. Let's try and sign this one real quick, I guess. Maybe. I try not to make my signature distract too much from the painting. Oh man, this one's not going too well. Kind of blobbing it on there. That's usually why I don't sign them on camera, because I'm usually really careful with how I do it. Take my time. Cool. I know that looks really dark on camera, but it's only because it's wet. It's not that dark. Maybe some of it's a little dark, but it's not a big deal because it's dark behind it. Cool. Yeah, this camera really kind of compresses all the values. But when I look at it in person, that's not distracting at all. I kind of see everything. Yeah, it looks really cool, really good. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next stream. Be a Pen and Ink. Thanks for tuning in. And this painting, I'll make it available on my website for purchase. So anyone that is interested, $65. And if you check out my website, I have drawings on there from sale from past live streams. Have some watercolors on there. Some of them have sold, so definitely go check those out. What's available on my website, schaeferfineart.com. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.